supportive fantasy. Next, edges, warning, I love this universe, had to pick it up. Vegetables you will meet can talk. Hey guys, it's Tiff and welcome back to my channel. You already know what today's video is, so I do not need to tell you twice. What is up? How are you? I love you, and let's get right on into it. The last book haul of the year. I have done plenty of these throughout the course of 2023 because I myself love buying books. You love buying books. You know, we all love books, okay? Moral of the story. We all love books. So with that being said, let's get right on into this. Starting with the top of the stack, we have the Rom-com Agenda by Jane Denker. Honestly, I've never heard anyone talking about this, but I picked it up, read the back because I was already getting a book off the buy one, get one 50% off table, and I needed another one, and it just sounded cute. It's basically follows this girl and this guy, and the guy basically is like broken up with his old girlfriend, but he wants to get her back, so the main female character starts helping him try to win her back in like a rom-com-y way, like things that you would see in like movies, but then they end up falling for each other in the process, and I thought that just sounded cute. It was a cute concept. Never read anything like this before, so I thought, you know, whenever I'm in the mood for a sweet, probably fast-paced romance, this'll do it for me. It doesn't seem like it's too long, just barely over 300 pages, so I thought it'd be just a quick, easy read. That's all about that one. I didn't know what else to say. Moving on, the next book, a lot of you have probably already read this at this point, and it is a new release, and that is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Now, I have not read Icebreaker by her yet. I'm planning on reading that in January, but I saw this at my Barnes and I had to pick it up because I knew they were gonna sell out so fast since it had just came out recently, and so many people love Icebreaker and this book that I just have a feeling I'm gonna love it too. So I went ahead and picked it up. I have no idea what this book is about, who it follows. Like, I know nothing about this book, and I'm just gonna keep it that way. I love going into books blind, so a lot of the books I'm about to tell you about, I probably don't even really know what they're about. I'm just gonna go into them blind. Moving on, we have a fantasy, and we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I am so excited to read this book. I was going to read this before the end of the year, but I have got myself into a series, which we're gonna be talking about next, and I literally am refusing to stop until I read the whole series. So this will not be read till probably January, but I'm really excited to read it when I do. I saw Sarah in one of her reading vlogs read this, and she really enjoyed it, so ever since then it's just kind of been in the back of my mind, so when I saw it I picked it up. I don't remember what she said it was about in that video. Also, the cover just gives me really good vibes. Been really in my fantasy loving era recently, and I just can't wait to read it. And moving on, the series that I am currently just invested in. This is the second book in the series that I actually went to Barnes and picked up last night, and I'm already like 100 pages in, and I'm going to be continuing this series until I finish it. I'm actually reading this in a reading vlog, so if you want to see my thoughts and feelings and me reading this, stay tuned because that is coming sometime after this, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is obviously, as most of you probably know, the second in the ACOTAR series. I just finished ACOTAR last night. I had like 70 pages left, and the second my husband got home, I took the car, went to Barnes, picked this up because I knew the second I finished it I would want to start this, and sure enough, I've been reading this all morning, and as soon as I finish this video, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna start reading it again. I'm just really loving this series right now. I'm so upset that I haven't read it sooner, but I am really enjoying it, so I had to pick this up. The moment I finish this, we're picking up the third one, okay? That's the next book. And then moving on, I was at Barnes the other day, and my husband just let me buy some books, and I was walking through the YA fantasy aisle, and I was like, I want another YA fantasy that's gonna give me like medieval vibes. And then I saw this, and then I saw the author, and I was like, okay, gotta get it. And it is Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. She wrote Divine Rivals, and I really like that book. Since I love that so much, I was like, okay, I can go into this kind of knowing that I'm probably gonna like it because of the author, but also just what it's about, and also the cover, you know, the things that we have on the cover give medieval vibes. We have these helmets on the back that give medieval vibes, but it basically follows this girl and her sister. Our main character, Ava, is excited for her sister to finally come back after serving in the Queen's Army, but her sister comes back early because she's kind of on the run because she's being charged for murder, and so her sister decides to do something to like get her like punishments dropped. But as they both start to do the things they have to do in order to get her punishment dropped, she starts to realize that sometimes there is fates worse than death. So I don't know. I believe this is a standalone because I looked it up and it didn't say it was in a series, so that kind of was a little intriguing to me because I'm already in the middle of so many series, and sometimes I just want a book that's just gonna be one book and I'm not gonna have to like wait for another one or go into another one. Sometimes I just want a standalone. So we got that. Next, I have been seeing a lot of controversial things about this book, which I didn't know until after I bought it, but I still want to read it because it is by an author that wrote a series that I really love, and that is Never by Jessa Hastings. This book has been getting a lot of really bad reviews. There has been a lot of controversy around, I think, things that she has written in this, which obviously I haven't read it yet, so I don't know what that's all about, but I do still want to kind of go into it with an open mind. I mean, I already bought it and I do really like Magnolia Parks. Also, this cover is just stunning. I mean, genuinely, this cover is beautiful. Yeah, I've been seeing so many bad reviews, so many people saying that this book is awful, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm gonna try to go in with an open mind. We shall see. I don't know when this will get read. Probably, honestly, not anytime soon. We shall see. We shall see. Moving on, I got Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I don't know if that's how you say that, but I picked this up recently. It was on the buy one get one 50% off table. Sarah is always talking about how this was like one of her first fantasies she ever read and how she really, really loves this. I think it's a duology. I've just ever since kind of wanted to read it, but never really picked it up at the store. But since I saw it on the table, I was like, I'm gonna pick it up. I don't know what it's about. I'm sorry. I literally don't know what it's about, okay? I don't want to know what it's about. I just want to read it at some point. And again, I've been in my fantasy era, so I'm buying so many fantasy books because I'm in that era. I think probably over half of these are all fantasies. Moving on, another fantasy, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I haven't read Caraval either, and I know some people say like you don't have to read Caraval to read this. I do personally think I want to read Caraval before I go into this series, and I've had a lot of you recently actually telling me that you want me to read this series or the Caraval series or both, so I do really want to read them sometime in the new year. But since this was on the buy one get one 50% off table and I've never seen it on there, I decided to go ahead and pick it up since I was already getting Six of Crows. I'm just excited to dive right in at some point in the near future. Next, I have been waiting for my Barnes to get the paperback of this book since this book released earlier this year. I'm not typically someone who will buy hardcovers. Recently, I have bought a few, but typically if I'm gonna buy a hardcover, something in my brain tells me it needs to be a fantasy. Like buying a romance hardcover is just so weird to me for some reason. I just don't like them. So when I saw that they finally had the paperback of this, and not only that, but it was the Barnes & Noble special edition with the sprayed edges, I had to pick it up because I love another book by this author. Actually, I love multiple books by this author, and that is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. Look at this. I mean, are you kidding? Are you kidding? I saw Haley get this and I was like, my Barnes needs to get with the program and get this, and they finally did, and I'm so excited. Again, don't know what this is about, but I loved Better Than the Movies by her. I really enjoyed Mr. Wrong Number. The Love Wager, which comes after Mr. Wrong Number, is a 5-star read for me. I literally ate that up, and so I really, really love Lynn Painter's writing, whether it's YA or adult. This is a YA book. She did just come out with a new one recently called Betting on You, but again, I didn't pick it up because it wasn't a paperback, which I'm so annoying for that. I'm so annoying for that. Okay, moving on. We actually do have a hardcover. Now, my husband picked this up at the store, handed it to me and was like, read the synopsis, and I read it and I was like, oh wow, that book sounds so good, like so good. There was only one copy, so I had to get it, but it's a YA fantasy book. I don't think it's a series, I believe it's just one, and I can't describe this book to you. I'm gonna just have to read you the synopsis, but it is The Peculiar Peril. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm bad at saying this word. I think I said it right though, but it's by Jeff Vandermeer, and literally just listen to the synopsis because this synopsis, it just really got me. It really hooked me, and I was like, I have to get it, like I have to. And here is the synopsis. Warning, this book is not normal. Charlemagne appears as a giant moth. Napoleon is just ahead. William the Conqueror is an eel. Some of the vegetables you will meet can talk. Mammoths are not the usual size. There is a land bridge between England and Europe and an alt-Earth called Aurora. Guns shoot bears. That's right. They shoot out bears. Rabid chipmunks fall from the sky, and there are 3 magical doors, but no one knows what the doors really do or where the third goes. All Jonathan Lambshed knows is that he must help find a golden sphere before Alistair, I can't say that name, Crowley can, but nobody tells him the sphere is intelligent and a psychopath to boot. If you proceed, you must repeat the following. I have been warned and the risk is mine. Long live Squishy. Like actually flawless draw on floor. I was like, oh my god, like this synopsis just confused the living crap out of me, but it sounds so good and I just must have it. I must get it. I must read it. I genuinely genuinely just can't wait to see what this book is about because it just sounds like nothing I have ever read before, and I think it is potentially going to be an amazing book. If you have ever read this, let me know down below what you ended up rating it. I'm very curious. Okay, moving on. We have When Life Gives You Vampires by Gloria Duke. This is just another little rom-com. This is like a fall Halloween one, so I'm obviously not going to be reading it for a while, but it's basically about this girl. I believe she has a one-night stand and the guy ends up being a vampire and she gets turned into one. She basically ends up falling in love, like starting to fall in love with the guy who ended up turning her into a vampire. I don't know. Okay, all I know is it was rom-com. When I bought this, it was Halloween. I just didn't end up getting to it. I love vampires. Okay, so I just thought, you know, might as well, when Halloween time comes around next year, I'll give it a read and I'll let you know what I think. But I did in fact buy this. And next, I picked up the final two books in the Inheritance Games trilogy. So we have the Hawthorne Legacy and the Final Gambit. I read the Inheritance Games in October. That's actually is in a reading vlog. I just loved it so much. It was so good and it kind of ended off on a cliffhanger, and I've been really wanting to get back into the world, so I finally picked up the last two in the series and I can't wait to continue it. Her writing is so good. It's so captivating. The story is so interesting. I really fell in love with our main character Avery, and also the Hawthorne boys. We have Jameson and Grayson and I think Nash, and I think there's another one and I can't remember his name for some reason. But anyways, I just really fell in love with the world and the characters and I can't wait to eventually get back into it. I'm sure honestly this will probably be one of the first things I read in the new year. I'm just so antsy to get back into the universe, but like I said earlier, we are reading ACOTAR and ACOTAR only at this point, so this will have to wait till the new year, which is right around the corner, which is so crazy. I can't believe it. We also bought another two in a different series, and that is the next two in the Addicted series. I basically got Addicted for Now, which is the third, and then Kiss This Guy, which is the first in the Calloway Sister series, but fourth in the order you're supposed to read it in the Addicted series. So I'm really excited to eventually get back into this world and into this universe because I really loved the first two, and I love these characters. I miss Lillian Lowe, I miss Wright, I miss Rose, like I miss them all. I can't wait to get back to it and see what else happens in this story and in this world and what happens with these characters, because they really do just feel like besties and I miss them a lot and I can't wait to get back into it. Next, I picked up Fourth Wing. I am so behind on reading this. I have not read it yet, but they had the special edition when I went one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it. It's so pretty. I literally love it. It's gorgeous. Again, I don't typically get hardcovers, but this is not out in paperback, so it was either this or my Kindle, and I do really want to have a physical copy of this, so I picked it up. I don't really know anything about the plotline of this book other than there's dragons, of course, and I'm someone who really loves dragons. Any TV show or movie that there's dragons in, I'm gonna eat it up. I'm gonna love it, so I'm very excited to read this. And then the last three books I got are actually manga. Okay, I've never read manga before, but I do really like anime. I used to not like anime, or I guess I thought I didn't like it when I didn't really know what anime was back in high school, and then my husband introduced me to some really great animes. Dragon Ball, the whole universe of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, the movies, like that show has literally overtaken my world. Okay, if you watch all my videos, you have definitely seen me wear a Dragon Ball hoodie at some point because I wear it all the time. So the first manga I had to pick up, of course, was the Dragon Ball. This is the first Dragon Ball manga. If you do not know anything about Dragon Ball, there is Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super. There's actually a new show coming out next fall. There's still manga for Super that's not in the anime, so there should be more of that coming at some point in the hopefully near future, but probably distant future. But there's just a lot that goes into this universe, and I love this universe, so I really want to read all the manga. So my husband bought me the first one. I'm so excited. It's kind of chunky. There's 3 Dragon Ball manga. I picked up Chainsaw Man. My friend Michelle really likes this anime, so I decided to pick up one of the manga. I've never seen this anime, but she says it's really good, so I'm excited to see. It is really gruesome. I'm a little nervous, but I did pick up that. And then the last one I picked up is more of like, I think, a romance one, and it's called After We Gazed at the Starry Sky. I have no idea really what this is about, to be honest, but I'm excited to jump into a different world of reading because reading manga is just such a different world of reading. Obviously, it's a different culture and it's just so different. So I'm excited to jump into a different world of reading when I jump jump into reading these, and a friend of me and Makai's actually gave me two to borrow, so I have a few to read in the near future. So that is all the books that I bought recently. I feel like that was a lot. I feel like I just talked so much at you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are not already, because we have a lot of fun over here and we want you to join the fun. With that being said, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. I don't know what I'm doing. Goodbye. That's good. There's gotta be a good one. These are too heavy to keep holding. It's the way I thought I would have like 10 books for this haul, but I actually have almost 20. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think we're Gucci. Are we Gucci? Mic's in. I was pulling it out earlier. Channeling my inner Sharpay to film this video right now. Jane, Denker, the rom-com. Whoa. What is going on? Rachel. I saw Rachel? No, that's the author. My husband will be like, whoa. Lamb shed. We have When Life. Whoa. So I hope you enjoyed. Whoa, what?